All right, Gavin Wolpert, Rob Barrington. We're here for our last segment in the instant match point analysis. We have boards 21 to 30, and we've gone through a lot of stuff that you guys have gone through just now. If you're looking at this after playing the event, you've done pretty darn good so far. We've had struggles, and we continue to struggle, but we brought our panel along with us, Gavin. Some of the best players in the world, the USA team representing us in the World Championship, as well as some of our other friends, legend Larry Cohen, John Kraniak, Vince Demuy. They came with us on some of these hands, and we needed them on board number 21 here. We basically stopped our hand record at this point, Gavin, because it saw pass one no trump, and we said, first off, what do we want to do as the South player? And also, if we don't act as a South player, another player might have some action here first. So we're just looking at South. What are you thinking here? What did you do, folks out there? And
Yeah, so normally, well, first of all, their question is, do we act? And then the second question is, if we act, what do we act
yes,
with? So when we posed this question to the panel, we said, do you want to act? And if you want to act, would you
here are your
choose
choices,
showing
basically.
both majors, or would you show something that showed where you had a four card major and a longer minor?
Yep, and
And the only people who acted said that they would show both majors.
yep,
And I definitely am in agreement there. I like if I'm gonna come in to show two suits, it's much better for me to show my actual two suits, the ones where my partner's going to hear about both of them in one go,
yep,
than it is to say, hey, I have one of these and one of these. Or even if it's diamonds and a major, even if the option was overcalling diamonds and a major or showing both majors, it's usually better to show the two suits at the same time, because what will happen often is if you're playing don't and you overcall two diamonds with this hand,
yep,
showing diamonds in a major, partner might have four of one major and a singleton in the other
and not
major,
have
and
any
they'll
clue.
just leave us in diamonds
Yep.
when we had a better fit available because they don't know what our other suit is. So that's a good rule of thumb. I don't know if I would act.
Most of the
I
panel passed, actually. Most of and even the legend that's not on there, I think, was also a passer. I usually kept it that way. So it was like 5 to 3. But I like what you're saying about this, just having clarity on both of those suits if you are going to do that and kind of act in a different way.
Yeah, so I tend to want to have more of an opening hand in that direct seat. So I'm really a passive bidder in that direct seat, and
Very good.
but I'm much more aggressive to balance in the
So
balancing seat. So
let's find a little more pleasure in this hand and sit as the West player now. So now you're responding. I believe. No, sorry, we're gonna sit as the North player. Excuse me, Gavin. We don't need to sit as the West player.
well, the West player does have something worth discussing. Is that
Sure,
you have
sure.
eight points and four spades? Is do you pursue game? But when you're 4-3-3-3, you shouldn't be bidding Stayman one
Nope.
way or another. And with only 8 points, you should not be pushing to 25-point games. Again, you're playing match points. Your goal is to get plus scores. And when you
Exactly.
invite game, there's two bad things that can happen to you. One is that partner passes your invitation in 2-0, and you go down in 2-0. And the other is partner accepts game and goes to 3-0, and you go down in 3-0.
Yep. And you
When
could
you
have gone
pass
plus
one no,
120 or plus 90.
when you pass one no, so you're in great shape unless you happen to actually make 3-0 trump, which when you have only 25 points between you, it's going to be
Yeah.
close. It's
The
not going to
only
be a great game.
the
It's going to be
only 8 point
close.
hand you want to invite with is an 8 point hand that has a really good 5 card suit in it, in my
The
opinion.
source
Right?
of
Have
tricks.
some tricks in your hand, and then that makes sense for you. But let's get to what I meant to slide to in the first place, which is now if it goes a no trump pass to you, you're a passed hand. We also were interested in our expert panel, and I'd like to get your answer too now that you're here. What do you do in this chair? And we gave other
Uh,
parameters here also, Gavin.
Well, we just basically said if you could either double to show a four card major, longer, minor, which is what I like to play with in multi landy, or you if you're playing Meckwell or don't, would you bid two clubs and a major,
And the question was
and or
essentially,
club
would you balance? Basically, that was the key.
right?
Was it
And
a yes or
I
no
am
answer?
definitely a yeser. I
Yeah,
am definitely a yes.
things
Like,
change in the
no,
balancing seat, don't they?
yeah, in the balancing seat, you know your partner's got some points. You know your partner might not be making the right lead against one no. I just think it's right to compete with these hands, and it's funny because
We had some
the
direct
same
actors
people
not acting in the balancing seat. Yeah,
There's only one person who acted in both seats, and that was Joe Grue.
Yes,
Everybody
exactly.
else, the bidders in the
In
direct
fact, here
seat
we
did
go.
not balance, and
Let's
the passers in the direct seat did balance. So
uh,
it's kind
uh,
of funny.
and let's show you. Let's get one of these panels out of the way so we can show them both back to back here. Here we go. All right, so Joe is the only one that will just act everywhere, and then we have Vince not acting in either spot, being very consistent as well. But there it is, and that was kind of what we wanted to know on this hand. But let's sweep these away and just take a look at the entire hand now. Now that we can see what happens. I mean, our question was, how the heck is it going to go? What is going to happen? And North will likely act, and that will establish North-South as probably the players of this hand. It's weird though. West has that 8 count that they might get back in with. So a lot of different things could happen here depending on, first of all, who acts.
The irony of this whole discussion is it all depends on East upgrading their hand to open one no trump. So there's a decent chance that a lot of your tables just opened a club, and now South could just make a aggressive takeout double. I don't know if they're supposed to do that or not.
I don't know.
Tough,
Let me just tell
tough
you,
auction after a club.
that would be a no trump just 100% of the time in my book.
Yeah, no
also.
question for me either.
So
for sure.
a really good 14 with Ace Jack 9, 5th of clubs. We're in. So yeah, good point though, Gavin. Good catch. All right, let's take a look at number 22. Board 22 sees a lot of bids come out of the box, a lot of passes. It's an interesting hand. Sorry, let me show you the entire hand here. Let's not let you make you guess what everything is happening here. And here we go, Gavin. Board 22 all over the place. South starts with a diamond bid.
Well, it's first of all, East starts with a pass. There's just no good bid for that King 5th, King 6th in the majors. You're not going to open a week 2 bid with 5 spades. You're not going to open 2 hearts. So you got to pass and hope you get a chance to bid Michaels later. But that's not how it works out. It goes a diamond on your left, and your partner West has a pretty good hand. Yeah, but no bid. You can't bid over a diamond, and it's really important you're finding a quick pass over a diamond. Don't give away the show when it goes a diamond and you think for a while and pass. Anybody who's paying attention knows you have a good diamond suit and points, but you don't have the right shape to act. That's what you're showing when you think for a while over a diamond. And definitely don't say, how many diamonds does one diamond promise?
Are you playing precision? What is that? So here after that, North doesn't have a good enough hand to game force, unfortunately. So they just bid a heart. And then East can come in comfortably.
East now only has one choice to come in, and that's to overcall their 5-card spade suit.
And you can't resist at the 1 level here, right? This is just
definitely not. No, you have to bid.
Yeah, if you find a fit, it's a gold mine. And then we have now just a pass.
Yeah, pass. This was another one of those free bid spots that we talked about in the first video, where opener does not have to bid. They're choosing to bid on their second turn. And with Jack 5th and Queen 9 4th and your 2 5-4 cards, your 2 suits, those are not suits you want to get back involved with in this hand. So you just pass 1 spade. And now West, you have to have a sense of humor. Your partner is a passed hand. You do have an opening hand, but your partner is a passed hand. You have a good hand. It's worth a Q bid.
And you get to show it with your Q bid raise. Exactly. So you get to show your Q bid raise, and then partner says, can you take a joke? I just want to bid 2 spades.
Yeah, but North had a choice there. It might have felt the urge to bid 3 clubs. And we kind of touched on this in the notes, where North, you have 2 ways to go about this. You can make a direct 3 clubs, which is kind of a good hand, or you could wait, have them answer the Q bid, which you're pretty confident looking at 10 points. You know that there's a good chance that they're not going to be accepting the game invite here. And so you can pass, let them bid 2 spades, have it come pass, and now you can bid 3 clubs on your next turn and not have conveyed such a strong hand.
And that's such a good suggestion here. Now this just says, look, I'm competing and I have long clubs, and you already know I have 4 hearts, and that fit is sailed because of the non-support double. So now we get back to West is certainly not going to let them play 3 clubs.
It turns out that actually more aggressive bidding would kind of pay off here. That north-south with the King of Clubs being onside and the King of Hearts being in a nice place for us to take a roughing finesse, we really are only going to lose 2 diamonds in 5 clubs. So you can actually make 5 clubs. So if North was a little more aggressive and they found their club fit, I would not be surprised if people got all the way to 5 clubs and made it. But on the other side, East-West also has a pretty decent shot at making a very aggressive 4 spade contract with less than half the deck. So it's a kind of a crazy hand. But I feel like our suggested auction had gave reasonable choices for each
Yeah,
person,
agreed. And the
and
discussion that you had is the most important one is when you're going to have when you're very confident you're going to have another chance to bid, you have these two different meanings for what these situations are. Good conversations to have with your partners in these spots as well about what each of these sorts of actions are going to mean. Anything else you want to dip into on 22, Gavin? All right, let's look at number 23. All right, number 23. We've had an interesting discussion about the North Hand, and we brought our panel in for the North Hand as well. The auction starts with a perfectly normal one spade opening bid as a South player, and West is delighted to pass that. And the question was, would you game force with the North player's hand? It's 12 points.
it's a hand you would open.
Yeah, for sure, for
But
sure.
with modern opening style, game forcing with a quacky 12 count is a dangerous approach. I think that you're going to find that you're going to get too many 12 ups at 12, 12 ups at 11, 3 no trumps, where the opponents are just going to have enough beef to beat you.
Yeah, yeah, and we wanted to just test our legends and would you game force? And the answer was more no's than yeses for sure. And I think Joe made the distinction of I would game force if maybe non-vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
You
He
game
said
force, non-vulnerable
vulnerable he
wouldn't.
would because
Yes,
partner's not going to open as aggressively.
and they actually play different types of agreements based on their vulnerability as well. So that's even a deeper answer. But here's
These
what it was.
polls
Most people
really
aren't game
show
forcing.
you, the polls show you that like there's no agreement of this stuff. There's no
Yeah,
rules that you can follow that are, you got to work with your own experience, understand your partner's style. If you're playing with somebody who's a very sound opening bidder or you're playing a sound
you're
opening
way
style,
more likely
this
to
is
game
an
force.
automatic game
Yeah,
force.
yeah.
If you're playing an aggressive precision system where
You
you're
would never
opening
game
every 10
force.
count,
Yeah.
you definitely wouldn't even think about game forces. So it
Yes.
really comes down to a partnership style, but you can see here that the experts don't even agree.
I
So
like how
you've got to kind of,
the partnerships, you can tell maybe Vince is more of a sound opening bidder and Kran maybe isn't because Vince is not opening and or not game forcing. Kran is, so maybe you
yeah.
see the sides of the partnerships as well. But what a great point too. Nothing is automatic. Nothing is. There's no rules for everything, especially considering the context around it. But with or without a game force, we would expect to find our way to four hearts on this hand. South, nice 5-5 hand. It's an interesting hand to deal with in the play just because of the way the hand breaks out.
Yeah, it's makeable, but I would not be surprised if you went down. The clubs are 3-3, so that's why you'll see on the scorecard that it's makeable. Although probably no, actually probably on the double dummy it is down if you cash a diamond and shift to a spade. Um,
Uh,
there's a decent. Oh, it's going to be touch and go,
yeah,
but and again, as declarer, I wouldn't be surprised if I won some opening lead and led a spade towards the queen. I wouldn't be thinking spades are 5-1, and I wouldn't
sure.
want to bank play my whole contract on whether clubs are 3-3.
I
So
mean, what would
I
West
think
West might just lead a club, right?
they might lead a club, and if they're playing third and fifth, that three clubs will
It's
tell
going to be
you
super
that clubs are
revealing.
breaking.
Yeah.
So you might just go actually make it now. You might win the club and just start drawing trumps.
I say,
And
okay, maybe
you
we're
might not be
lucky.
able to resist though playing 3 rounds of clubs, throwing away your diamond. But that actually doesn't put you in such a
Right, because your
great place
spades
for
are
the rest
still
of the hand.
looking
The
pretty
spades are
pretty
tough. They're going to
ugly.
be tough to establish exactly. So weird hand in the play. If you
Yeah,
went down, I wouldn't feel too bad about it though.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, in fact, the last time we did it, I think a lot of the contracts we were getting people to or assuming were normal were just unmakeable completely. So you're going to get to some contracts that are good as far as you're considering in the auction, but just have no point.
Sometimes the opponents will let you make them.
That's where you get your scores too. All right, let's take a look at number 24. 24 saw another interesting decision for one of the players and another shapely hand for the same player, the North player. West has another very normal one spade opening bid, especially guys. It's only 11, but that is an amazing 11-point hand. Just use your rule of 20 if you're not familiar with that. High card points plus the total number of cards in your two longest suits. But honestly, 11 with that 5-card major, I would probably just isolate and open all the time. One spade is your bid. The question we had for North is, what's your pleasure after one spade? What are you thinking here, Gavin?
It's not really my style to Michaels on hands like this. Although when we asked the panel, They were Michael's bidders. This is an awkward
Almost
hand
all of them,
more
actually.
often than not. You see
Yeah.
that Brad was one of the passers,
And
and
Marty
Marty
as well
also passed.
passed. And I
But
believe
everybody else
Chip
kind of,
maybe passed also, or maybe bid two spades. I think Chip maybe bid two
yeah.
spades.
It's not usually. I tend not to go to the 3 level unless I've got a little bit better of a hand. But as we've seen in a couple of these Michaels auctions, that these guys like to bid Michaels a little. They're much more aggressive
Is
than
it
I
the
would have thought.
non-vulnerable portion of this that is getting these guys over the edge a lot of times? Just like,
Yeah, I think in this case, it's the fact that you're kind of too strong to pass, and I think that I might actually Michael's on this end
yeah,
match
it's
points
with
because
everything
it's
working
like
so
you're a
well.
little too strong to pass and too much playing strength, and overcalling two hearts is just such a complete
Yeah,
misdescription of this hand
right.
when your whole hand lives in diamonds. So like I think you might have to squeeze out a Michael's bid on this hand, and I probably would do it at the table no matter what I would tell my students.
Right, right.
But like sometimes like when you're on the spot and you're like, I can't actually pass this hand, but yeah, so
Well, note the three spade bid. That's that bid we were talking about earlier as well. Once the north hand is Michael's, East has a better raise. They have a cubit available. This is a perfect just three spade bid. They have a 9 count with 3 card support. And South is going to digest partners' information and bid 4 hearts here, or at least that's what we're suggesting on this. Can we talk about that a
yeah,
bit?
it won't work very well. But South really needs to bid 4 hearts. So you've got the ace queen 10 of hearts fitting partner. You eat whether partner has clubs, you have a second, you have a double fit. If
Right.
partner has
You're
diamonds, you have a
roughing
roughing
diamonds.
value. It's just too much to pass, and the problem
You
is
just
that
hate the queen
it's
of spades.
absolute.
That's the only thing
Your
you
your
hate.
your partner is not going to bid again unless you bid 4 hearts, and so like you've got just too much strength that it's probably the auction's over. So I think with ace queen 10 of hearts, it looks like you would bid 4 hearts. It would not work out very well.
Yeah. The only time it works out well is if West or East become territorial, which some people have just a knack for doing. They just want to keep bidding. Don't be Don't be those people. Just take your plus score on defense. You'll get a really good one here. All right, number 25 is next. Where did this auction come from, Gavin? A ho hum, 1 diamond, 1 heart, 2 clubs. All right, let's play in that 8 card club fit at the 2 level. This is a little different than our 6-5 hands.
Yeah, finally a more normal hand. Just the only thing really worth talking about is the opening lead by East.
Mm.
Normally in these auctions, a diamond pass a heart pass 2 clubs, where opener opens 1 suit and then bids a second suit, and the responder leaves them in the second suit. There's
You
because
want to
we
lead
open our
Trump.
longer suit first. Because we open our longer suit first, the fact that South has chosen to leave partner in their second suit usually means they've got a big disparity between their 2 suits, because if they're equal, they'll always go back. And even if they have like 2-3, they might consider going back to 2 diamonds. So normally you just lead a club thinking there's a decent enough chance that Dummy's going to hit with the singleton. And here I would lead my queen of clubs, although the
Wow.
jack of
See, I,
spades is definitely a
I
close
was
second.
I was likely going to lead this one because the queen of clubs just looks like it might be bad, even though I really do want to lead a club. It's
That's the
interesting
thing
that
about
it's
these
so
auctions.
desperate that you want to lead
Yeah,
this, even with stiff queen.
even with
Really,
suits that
really
I normally
interesting.
would be
Thank you.
afraid to lead, I would lead a trump.
Very cool. Nice, Gavin. Yeah, because I probably would just blindly lead the jack of spades, just kind of
It's
avoiding
okay.
that.
It's not like that. Look, it's not like it's absolutely right to lead the queen of clubs. Leading
Well,
the jack of spades could easily be
but
right.
it proves it makes a really good point. This discussion about a Trump being so important here is it's in really good to understand why. And when you see these sorts of auctions, you're going to get that lead right more often than not if you just take that in and digest it. Very, very good. All right, let's get on 26. Drury check on board number 26. Gavin, do you play Drury? Did you have a Drury auction? Did your partner have one and you didn't? What happened on this one? 2 passes seem pretty likely with East and South, and then West opens a spade pass. Here's your Drury bid. Doesn't come too much better than that. That's actually an 11 count that we didn't open, and I would never open, by the way. And then some bit of competition ensues with the South player here, Gavin. Let's look.
It actually wouldn't have been crazy for South to just poke in with 2 hearts.
You mean right as the South at the
Over
second check?
Drury, they're kind of
Over
like on
Drury, you
their way
mean?
to
Nice.
game.
Okay.
They're not gonna. They have a singleton spade. The chances are that of them stopping and doubling you is like pretty low. It wouldn't be crazy to get in there
Because
now
then maybe
as
partner
opposed to
bids 3
later.
hearts over 2 spades, and you've taken the pressure off your side. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we suggested a pass, but when I saw the hand, I'm like, well,
maybe
might
two
be good.
hearts. All right.
I might not have been able to pass. If I was non-vol, I'm pretty sure I'd be bidding in that
Good.
spot.
Good.
You're just kind of safe. They have a fit. They're headed to two spades at least. They're not going to stop and defend two hearts with a spade fit.
Yeah.
It's just like what bad is going to happen to you. So yeah, but you didn't do it. It went two spades, pass back to you. But now you're like, I can't let them
I gotta
play
get in
two
there. Yeah.
spades. So that's why we had the double in there rather than three hearts. Three hearts is a little bit one directional as opposed to double, which is multi
And
directional.
East should certainly be willing to compete to the 3 level. And damn, partner, if they've decided to open a 4 card spade suit in the third chair, we're gonna use the law of total tricks and get to our 3 level, and be good with it. And that's where this will likely park itself. 3 spades. All right, 3 or 4 boards to go to end it. Let's take a look at those right now. All right. Is this the one that we talk about maybe pushing people around or something? I think there was a quote about that somewhere in one of these hands, Gavin. It started with West opening a spade after South's pass, and then North has a pretty tasty takeout double. You don't have to have 4 hearts to make a takeout double, folks. That's pretty much a takeout double in all our books. And the aggressive raise is the 2 spade bid here.
Yeah, you only have five count. You only have a 3 card spade suit, but you got to bid 2 spades because you know that it's going to be a fight for the part score. Your partner's got an opening hand. You have 5 points. The opponents are going to fight for the part score. If you bid 2 spades, you're forcing them to act at the 3 level and potentially get to the wrong fit. On this hand, they didn't actually have a right fit, but you still, by bidding 2 spades, you force South, who has to act, to bid 3 instead of bidding 2. If it went a spade double pass, so I guess maybe they might have bid 3 anyway on this.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter though. You're right. So on hands, on a lesser hand, in fact, let's just park out a queen over here, right? If we take away the queen of clubs and we put it somewhere else, if I could use the right button here, it would be nice. But if we just slide the queen somewhere else over there, now we just have a lesser hand. There we go. Finally have only 8 points, right? So now that's a hand that may not. In fact, let's park a little more out of there, Gavin. Let's park that queen of hearts out of there as well. Now we have a hand that might not take action at the 3 level, right?
Well, no, you wouldn't want to. Yeah,
exactly. But here, it's going to probably lead to this anyway if North chooses the double. And I don't think anybody would not double with the North hand. What do you think as far as...
And look, it's a non-vol against non-vol hand where East-West can probably squeak together a make in 2 spades. Although I guess you've got quite a few losers. You've got 3 clubs that need tending to. I'm looking at spades from the East-West perspective. You've got a heart loser, a diamond loser. A couple of spades is 4, and it's going to be hard to avoid losing 2 clubs. Although you can do it. It
would be pretty unfortunate if West chose to bid 3 spades, which a lot of territorial type players might do in this situation, saying, hey, I have shortness, maybe I should be at the 3 level here. And
but they have so much defense. They can lead their singleton diamond, and then they have the ace of trumps to get back in, and partner raise. They should have some kind of entry, and you can get them in for rough. So you can kind of see that there's a good chance you're going to beat 3 hearts. So I don't think it's right to bid 3 spades.
No, I agree. But just let that be a lesson to you. If you were one of those players that chose to bid on, you could have had.
You want to have 9 trumps to bid at the 3 level. It's not about high cards.
Leave it to partner,
and it's not about singletons and random side suits. That's good. It's about singletons in their suit. You might consider bidding. But.
Sure. All right, let's take a look at the next hand. 28 is the number, and this an interesting decision after West's initial pass here, and this was interesting enough for us to bring in our panel as well, but seems pretty normal for it to go pass 1 spade by the East player. I think that's the most normal bit of the day here for sure. South does not clearly does not have enough to take action here, folks. Do not get in here with your 10-point hand at the 2 level. First of all, you're vulnerable. Second of all, you need a much better hand to be bidding here. The real question comes with, what do we do with West? Do we bid a no trump? Can we bid 2 hearts? We have such a good description of hearts by bidding 2 hearts because our hand is perfect for that as far as ace king jack 5th. But was it enough?
Yeah, we're even playing 2/1. Obviously, you're a past hand, so now 2 hearts is just back to the old-fashioned 2-heart bid of like 10 points. But you don't need to wait for every 10-point hand to bid 2 hearts. Like you could have you're gonna you would open most 11 counts with 5 hearts,
Yeah.
or at least some of them. So it's okay to push a little bit to 2 hearts. So we thought it was an interesting enough question that we would ask
And
everybody,
we
and you
were
can
right
see
down the
the
middle.
panel was split. Yeah.
Yep, it's totally split. In fact, I think Chip broke the tie on this, if I'm correct, with a 2 heart bid, I believe. Yeah. So Chip did break the tie on this one effectively, but you see the real kind of struggle with this from every player. Is it 1 no? Is it 2 hearts? It's close for everybody, I think, on this one.
Yeah, this hand worked out. I think it works out worse for you to bid 2 hearts on this actual deal because you get a little bit high in hearts. At least if you play spades, it's a pretty straightforward 2 spades. You're going to lose 2 diamonds, 2 clubs, and a
And
heart,
you will
right?
stay at 2 spades because it'll go in no trump. He'll rebid, or she will rebid 2 spades, and you'll just pass out the west hand basically,
Yeah,
rather than
but
playing 3 hearts.
and unfortunately, when you bid 2 hearts, partner raises to 3 hearts.
And you
Although
have to lose 5 tricks if
it wouldn't be insane for East to pass 2 hearts. With also, partner's a passed
Interesting.
hand.
Yeah,
You only have a 12 count. The Queen of Diamonds isn't that great. You have 3 little trumps. If partner's got a singleton spade, it's not clear your hand is so great. So it's
maybe.
it's possible that you could have survived on this hand after by passing. But if you did pass with East, then South actually might consider
Now they can
reopening
bid
with
two
a
no,
takeout
yeah,
double.
or takeout double,
Yeah,
exactly.
but because they've got 5-4 in the unbid suits, and actually it is North South's hand on this hand. They can make
Truly,
lots of
yeah,
clubs, right? So you
certainly.
got to find your way in there. Passing actually might work out worse for East West than even though it stops you in a contract that you might make. You might let the opponents in to their
Interesting.
makeable 3 clubs. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to take a look at the scores on this one when you guys play this in, which will be July 9th, or you've already done it if you're watching this, actually. So we'll keep a lookout for you. Let's see the last couple of hands here, Gavin. All right. Board 29, we have sat ourselves in the hot seat here as the East player, Gavin, and the auction to us has been an original pass by our hand, and then 2 diamonds opened preemptively by South, and 2 passes to us. And the question for us was, do we risk doing something here, especially very, not maybe confidently, but thinking partner might be licking their chops over there?
Well, we know
For a
partner has
pass.
5 diamonds.
We know
right.
that
That's the thing is
because it didn't
partner's
go 3
got
diamonds
five
to our
diamonds.
right.
They didn't raise 2 diamonds to 3 diamonds. The chances of partner having 5 or more diamonds is pretty high.
But our hand is
So
like,
really, when we're deciding whether to double here, it's the question of just how strong partner is sitting over there.
yeah,
I have to admit, my instinct with this hand would be to just let him have it and not defend 2 diamonds doubled. But because I don't have a trump to play through in 2 diamonds doubled, it's not usually good to defend with a void. It doesn't work out amazingly well. But on this hand, it was definitely right to double, and a lot of the panel bidders doubled.
it did.
So
I thought it would be more like half and half, but it was like 6-3, I think, on this one for double, and that just shows how good a partner all these guys are. Because let's take a look at this hand, Gavin. It's just brutal for the 2 diamond opener. Sorry, let me get that pull out of the way for us here. There we go. Partner has ace, king, queen, 8, 5th of that suit. And it's still, how many tricks are they going to take? They still actually have a pretty decent hand in the north chair. But I think they will find
with the queen jack of spades coming home, they're going to take about 4 or 5 diamond tricks.
Yeah.
A club
4
and a
at
heart.
least.
But
yeah.
But if you lead a heart, they might make it, right? Because if you lead a heart, you might be able to throw the 10 of clubs on the third round of hearts and just lose. Do they have 5 trump tricks? Maybe they have 5 trump tricks.
I think they could take all 5 if they just never lead trump, right? But they may be forced to do something at some point. But on this particular hand, I was very, very shocked at how many people did double with this hand with this kind of 5 count, and there it is. It's likely just going to go float out from there.
I think there's a good chance that you can make this one. I actually do think
on a Harley, especially. I think it's interesting. Well, my question for you is, let's look at that South player's hand, especially in third chair. I buy 2 diamonds. I'm happy with that.
I would open 3 diamonds, excuse me. I would open 2 diamonds in third chair. That's what I was going to say.
Exactly.
I would. It's the only seat I would do it.
Exactly right. This would not be a 2 diamond opening bid outside of this third position. All right, last chance.
Too much defense, right? That's the thing about
Yeah,
the hand is you have
yeah.
too much defense.
Ace X, King third, and I mean,
That's
partner
why I
is a
wouldn't do
passed
it in
hand.
most seats. Is my
Exactly.
point. Yeah,
If
exactly.
partner wasn't a passed hand, you rate to miss a lot of stuff, and maybe just confuse the whole situation. All right, last chance to excel. Number 30, Gavin, and we see a preemptive action starting it, and another third chair opener. Much more comfortable opening with a 4-card major when partner's a passed hand, and that's a pretty tasty 3-club bid over there. And
Yeah, I really like it.
North
I would.
has,
It's like I would even be thinking about opening 4
yeah.
above 7-4 distribution, but I think 3 is good enough to get the job done.
If maybe
So
your King of Hearts and Queen of Diamonds were elsewhere, you might take a little more action for sure.
yeah, exactly.
But North just has a kind of uncomfortable choice. But what are they
Yeah,
supposed to
some
do
people might
here?
overcall 3 no trump, but you only have one club stopper. It's a little scary
Yeah,
to
and
me.
you're three
Partner's a
three in the
pass hand.
majors. You could find a
Yeah,
fit still there.
I think I would take out double is definitely my choice.
And then South proceeds to the 4 level with their 11-point hand, saying,
Yeah,
"Hey,
South
partner."
has basically the best hand they can have, and they have both majors, and they don't want to pick the wrong one.
Yep.
Turns out there was no right one on this hand,
And
but
and that's what Four
that's how you
Diamonds
do it.
said. Four Diamonds said, "Hey, partner, I don't want to pick a major."
Well, it
Basically.
said I have diamonds. It
Yeah,
did. It did say
exactly.
I have diamonds.
And partner
So
said,
yeah,
"Okay, you have diamonds, I have hearts," and now North can either pass that or bid 4 spades. And here you just end up playing in probably a 4-3 fit that spades will probably go better than hearts for you, I suppose, but nothing's going to be too
you might
amazing.
pass 4 hearts too. This one it would really
That's
depend on how
guessing,
you're
right?
feeling because South could be 4-5 in the majors, and so it's a little bit. You might have passed 4 hearts. No matter what you do, you're in deep trouble here at the 4 level with everything breaking so terribly. Diamonds are terrible for you. The hearts are terrible for you. You have no chance at
Well,
this
even
hand.
if
You're
you
already
bid
too
3
high.
diamonds, you're just going to get a bad score also. I mean, it's just the credit to this hand is if you choose to and correctly open 3 clubs with the West player's hand, you're just going to make it difficult for the opponents.
Well, never mind that. The opponents have 16 ups at 11. They have
Yeah.
27 points
Yeah.
and can't make a game. I
That's
mean,
true.
that's really
That's
the
pretty bad luck.
root
Yeah,
of the issue.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you didn't have all this kind of bad luck throughout the whole session, folks. 1 through 30, that's it. It's in the books, Gavin. I have to say, as always, my friend, you are a pleasure to work with, grinding through all these hands and coming up with all the expert analysis. Hardest worker in bridge, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love doing this, and I feel sorry for everybody having to deal with this ridiculous set of boards because I know that there's a bunch of people out there like, damn computer hands.
Stack
When this
hands.
was worse than that, it was not even just computer. First of all, there's nothing to that.
Yeah.
Shuffling random, it's just as random with the computer deals as shuffling deals. I promise you,
Okay.
I've played so
Whatever you
many
say.
shuffle and deal hands that
Whatever
have
you
had
say.
ridiculous distributions. It's definitely the same, but
Yeah.
the ACBL chose to use this set. I would say, like, write your little complaints to the ACBL. No, don't do that.
No,
Don't do
no,
that.
we're
Don't do
kidding, we're kidding.
that.
But yeah, it gave us a chance, and this always gives us a chance to not only go through this with you all, kind of a little before you guys get to go through it, but also bring in some of our friends, which is enjoyable for both of us, I think, seeing their answers and kind
And
of the
educational.
way
I
that they
learned so
discuss
much
it.
by
Yeah,
asking them all these problems. It's hard.
absolutely.
This game's a hard game.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. No one has all the answers. And if they tell you they do, find another bridge teacher. It's the best thing you can do. But take care, folks, and we'll see you for the next one in the fall, I believe. Have a good one, folks.